and hopefully and prayerfully not against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose love and life with light, so that you and your children may live. For I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not our new millennial law.
Okay. Athletics and tradition. Maybe players made sunflowers. They want to kill a Peter Black.
So that's what we got. What? I should have said. My family is filled with poetesses, poets, healers, co-secretary generals, co-saviorahs. You need to see what I see. You need to see. These are the spiritual as much as physical voyages of the co-federation, solar, sun, our starship, planet Earth, restored to heaven on our every earth, as our spiritual, genealogical, local, global, universal voyager, and shared her and his family community enterprise. Our new millennial year's mission: to rediscover and re-understand, sustain, and explore are and all are in fact familiar new worlds of family community, of the tree of love, life, and light throughout the solar system and universe, to restore, renew, and sustain our and new life and new sustainable civilizations, past, present, retroactively, and now, rebelled, and future, always balancing, to lovingly, genealogically, and boldly become and be space-time travelers whenever and where we have, in dimensional reality, all in part been before, if also never been before, in alternative space-time lines that are circles, which are of the universal EQ, IQ, and SQ continuum, balance, combinations of the ever-expanding circle which spirals and grows, budding and blooming in space-time. Love and live enlightened, ever young along, and prosper all both in each and every one. Engage your heart, mind, soul, and body, for we all, both and each, both and all, can, must, and marvelously and miraculously make it so.
In the thunderous blast, she emerges, her eyes on fire, and my deep breeze stirs. She is risen from the nativity of Caldera. She is risen from the fires of the earth. She is risen. She is risen.
We are risen.
She is risen. She is risen.
We are risen. We all are risen by my intercession.
Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be.
महालक्ष्मी मृडप्रिया महारूपा महापूज्या महापातकनाशिनी महामाया महासत्त्वा महाशक्ति महारथी महाभूता महेश्वर्या महावीर्या महाबला महाबुद्धि महासिद्धि महायोगेश्वरेश्वरी महातंत्र महामंत्र महायंत्र महासना महायागप्रमाराध्या ओम महाभैरवपूजिता महेश्वर महाकल्पक महातांडव साक्षिणी महाकामेशमहिषी महात्रिपुरसुन्दरी चतुष्षष्टि उपचाराढ्या चतुष्षष्टि कलामयी महाचतुष्षष्टि कोटि योगिनी गणसेविता
Celestial and what? No. Once. I should have said. Oh, so beautiful. My family is filled with poetesses, poets, healers, co-secretary generals, co-saviors. We can be and see that we are equinox Druqs. We have the ability to be that now. This day I call the heavens and the earths as witnesses intercessorily for and hopefully and prayerfully not against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose love and life with light, so that you and your children may live. For I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not our new millennial law.
Okay. I've got a Patricia. Maybe made sunflower. They want Cherokee and Blackstone. This is Anna Marie singing Christmas. And I am Cherokee, Cheyenne, Blackstone, and Algonquin, Nicolette. And I am also a French, English, and German. I have seen. That means we are all related. We embrace the new millennial golden rule and the law of all the natives of the sacred ground that is Mother Earth and all the planets of all the universes.
Welcome to another Starry Hours broadcast of the One Family of Love and Life in the Light of Balance of the Co-Federation of Earth and Planets of the New Millennial Golden Rule. We are a family-friendly co-federation divine democracy. Our first members acting as co-secretary generals, co-saviorahs of this planet and in connection with other planets that we will terraform and discover and may be in fact listening to us right now. We will become the divine democracy that expands throughout the universe via the stargates as well as solar-powered vessels. That is our mission, but we have become derailed from that mission because the rising of the divine feminine, which was occurring in the 1960s and the 70s and 80s, became derailed by a complex set of interactive factors here in North America that affected my and your and all of our family and community. Pulled women's relationships apart, deprived them of mutual conversation at a time when women had extremely important matters to consider, and brought so many women into a context where they simply serve as drone secretaries or henchmen of men who are wrongly seen as powerful, older men who are wrongly seen as powerful. These older men are not powerful. They are anti-powerful. In other words, the powers that they have are not the powers of life. In order for there to be the power of love and life, there has to be a balance in the society and in the moment of decision making between estrogen and testosterone. If not, the decisions are all tilted toward the testosterone-linked values. Exploitation becomes, well, dominance becomes exploitation in this scenario. And exploitation, after a while, brings about death. You cannot feed on yourself. You cannot be an animal farm and expect the farm to continue. We have a very dangerous process that has been going on for way too long here in North America called tokenism. Tokenism co-opts the few women who enter government into adopting the modes of the male gender. Therefore, they cannot serve the entire human family in balance of consideration of the human family's needs. Children, youth, and women are repeatedly ignored, made more and more vulnerable, more impoverished, subject to trafficking, subject to abuse, subject to separation from one another. And the women who are caught in the so-called safety of working with men or being married to men who are part of this process are blind to the impact on the entire society of having mostly old men with a few henchmen and enabling wife women, quote, ruling the world, while the divine democracy of the common people has been defeated, sidetracked, derailed, and delayed to the point of moribundity, of a cancer process affecting the society where only one or two cancer cells are glomming up everything, accumulating everything, and using them all for the wrong purpose. We could have had complete solar energy 25 years ago. And the only reason we didn't is that the decisions were made by mostly old men. That is the real reason. The women and the youth already then wanted solar energy and renewables. We know this. The polls are right there in front of us to see it. But we left the decisions to a small group of older men who were already invested in the more exploitative approach of oil and coal and nuclear, which endangers everybody. They made their money at the expense of the future. They didn't have to. And it's not entirely their fault because the women stood on the sidelines. And they didn't clamor to get into office very hard. One woman or a few token level, anything that isn't now 50% is tokenism. We are in a moment of extreme danger for this planet. There's no words for the danger that we are in. We could have a nuclear war any moment between ISIS and Iran and Israel. That could happen before you wake up in the morning. It could happen between Pakistan and India. It could happen between North Korea and the United States. It could happen that quickly because the decisions are being left in the hands of a few. In addition, what we are also doing to ourselves with regard to family life is in itself a megaton bomb of bestiality. Our children have no bonding. Their parents have no family leave. They have no vacation time. They are shifted from one poorly funded daycare center to another. The kids are growing up without bonding. They are all becoming bullies and bystanders to bullying or victims of bullying. That is the category our children are now set up in. Bystanders, bullies, and victims. We don't have happy, nice children now. We have abusive, troubled, fearful kids and youth. Our youth have been burdened with college debts, and most of the money is going to old men. Does this make any sense to you? It is horrific. It is sociopathic. It is deranged and it is demonic. Yet people are going along with this and they're worrying about their individual jobs. Why in the world are people not gathering in their neighborhoods and saying, enough is enough? We've had it. Enough is enough. We are taking over. We are taking over. We're going to go solar. We're going to pull off your grid. We're going to get out of your grid and we're going to turn off your television. Old men. Why people are not doing this is because the women are in some kind of la-la land mental state where they find this little tiff to be angry about that little tiff with each other and never get to talking about gender parity and what would uplift all of humanity. They don't get there because their minds are already mind programmed to triviality, nonsense, and avoidance. They have become like the protagonist of Manchurian Candidate. They have become mind controlled. They accept no family leave. They try to make it normal. They accept lack of universal health care. They try to make it seem normal. They try to identify with it and find advantages for it. The women are going out and buying guns when their neighborhoods could have been made into peace cultures. Does this make any sense to you? Why do men need guns in this year of our universal process? Why do we not have trust in our society the way they did in ancient Atlantis, when there was very little income inequity? Everyone lived in harmony in nature, and the arts, the humanities, and the sciences and the sports flourished for everyone. Say, I want that, and I want that yesterday. Claim it and make it your own via the New Millennial Golden Rule, which is at 5050 now, .wordpress.com. Do not accept anything else. Stop your lockstep lemming dance. You are going over a cliff. Wake up. Don't go into the office today. Go on strike with all of your neighbors and say, I don't want to work for the 1% anymore. I'm tired of it. I'm glad I don't have to. Please. You can grow your own food. We have permaculture. You don't need this crap. Our mothers in North America are making their children ill in order to fit in with patriarchal superintendent-run schools. Our kids are going hither to thither from one test to another test. Their teachers are giving them one test after another test, all the while seeing that the children are engaged in bullying, bystanderism, and victimhood. That there's something going on wrong in their homes. Of course, their parents are not there. They're working for the 1%, 24 hours a day. How dare anybody run a society like this and think it's okay? We all should be up in arms, of loving arms here, give one another a hug, and say we are the divine democracy, according to the New Millennial Golden Rule, which is at 5050now.wordpress.com. Genderism is the world's oldest and worst prejudice, the most dangerous prejudice on the face of the earth. As dangerous as racism is, and it is, and as dangerous as nationalism is, and it is, these dangers grow out of the foundation set up by patriarchy. Patriarchy turns the women into co-opted enablers. They become enablers of exploitation. A few of them benefit, the rest of them are driven into silence and invisibility. And in some cases, abuse and trafficking. This is so ugly, I cannot find the words for it. How can you tolerate this a moment more? How can you tolerate that 70% of the people in poverty on this planet are female, and it is because they are that there is poverty on this planet. Their labor is not counted because it is not monetized. Count it using the genuine progress indicator. Count it and you will have light and sunshine and a sunrise of love and beauty on this planet on every day. Use the new millennial golden rule and make it your own. Stop working within the rubric that is being sold to you on television. Television is the great mind programmer of a nation of Manchurian candidates, programmed to be lemmings, to go over a cliff and destroy their planet and their children's future and their own future and lives. We have an epidemic of Alzheimer's because the family pressures of patriarchy are profound on older people, and particularly older women. We have an epidemic of substance abuse. We have an epidemic of colic among babies again. We have an epidemic of immune disorders. We have an epidemic of stress-related illness. And our hospitals are our killing fields. That's where most people die. They don't regain health there because the medical people are rushing around without vacation time, without balance in their own lives, without holistic knowledge, and the doctors are making a lot of money over giving people pills and surgeries that they would not even need if the stress factors of their family and community life were addressed. I am calling upon you all to become co-Christ with me via the new millennial golden rule. It is the law of this and all planets, and it will give us spring in every season and open up the entire universe via the stargates. The Akashic record is there, and when we do this, the universal process will reincarnate our lost ancestry. They will be findable on the other planets. The Akashic record is what recreates and creates and recreates people. It is the source of reincarnation. It is that record that compels a next generation either to be better or worse off than the one that came before. We cannot afford to make them worse off. Wake up! The people of this time are asleep and sick and ill, and particularly the women have been cajoled into tokenism, and they don't know the difference between tokenism and parity. Parity is protective. Tokenism is toxic. Martin Luther King warned, do not take the drug of tokenist gradualism. Gina Davis, the genius who played a president on television, warned you, and then she herself got sidetracked from the real issues, which is that the news is not being reported properly and is worrying only about entertainment. We're an over-entertained society. Stop entertaining yourself and face some reality. I love you all. I am your great clan mother. I am Estrella, the divine mother, the divine goddess of the Statue of Liberty. I am here. It is directly in my genealogy I can point to how I come out of the Atlantis civilization and also interacted with that of the Magdalene and Nazarene families of Israel and the Essenes. And it is in my tradition I am also connected to the Kasturba Kapadia and Mahatma Gandhi family. It is my genes, and I am telling you that they are all speaking through me and telling you to adopt the new millennial golden rule yesterday and talk about nothing else at dinner, at lunch, and at breakfast. Until you have everyone on your block, in your neighborhood, in your building, and in your community, and in your extended family talking about it with you. Other than that, you're flapping your lips in the wind, and all of your dreams will come to naught. And I'm afraid that is about ready to happen to my family. So please wake up already. You are in extreme denial. Your habits are like those of a robot. Wake up. North Americans and Russians and Iranians and much of Pakistan and India is still struggling, and China is destroying the women who hold up half the sky. They are trying to fit in with a model made by men. Let them use the new millennial golden rule, a model of balance instead. That is the law of the planet Earth. I am your cosmic Christ until you all become cosmic Christ with me. And I especially know that my family is qualified for this genealogically, but mentally and emotionally, they are running away from their truth because of errors we all made from our embeddedness in patriarchy and the aspects of it that are unique to a large landmass country like the United States, individualism and geographical diaspora from the whole town. These things ate us up alive. And then the mass media came in to fill in the vacuum with a lie. They covered up and censored all the stories about gender parity for 25 years. They covered up and censored all the stories about renewable energy for 25 years. Your minds are numbed. You don't know what you're doing. You're walking zombies. Wake up. My children, wake up. My children, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Tokenism is not parity. Tokenism is a lie told by patriarchs that invigilates women who have a father hunger so extreme and a father identification so overwhelming that they don't know how to serve their own gender and children and youth anymore. Tokens are not enough. The tokens can be reintegrated into balance and parity, but they are not balance and parity themselves. The old men who rule and have a few token women around them are no one's friend, not even their own. No one survives Animal Farm. Do you read me? Now, what I want you to do is read 5050now.wordpress.com. Read it as if your life and your children's lives depended on it, because they do right now. I am already in a state of extreme anxiety for the young people of my family. There's so many of them hanging in the wind. These brilliant, adorable young people. And their mothers are in La La Land. And their fathers don't seem to even notice it. Often there's a divorce there. The men are not asked. Their mothers raised them wrong. They don't know that they have any obligations to extended family as well as their own and to the general well-being of a community. They've lost that wisdom. They live for themselves to put more and more money in the bank. And if it's so many cases of men substance abusing, sports addictions, sex addictions. This is not a risen humanity. Don't you want to be an Equinox True Q? Watch the Nox in Stargate and watch the True Qs in Star Trek. They can heal. They can stay ever young, and they are planet savers. That must become you. You must be that. And you can be that via the new millennial golden rule made the way of your building, your neighborhood, and your extended family. When they get together and make decisions. And they should get together and make decisions and family reunions that involve such decisions as, how about everyone in our family goes solar? Yeah. How about everyone in our family learn something about permaculture and organic gardening? Yeah. And see how easy you have heavens on earths. The stargates will open for you, and the marvelous, miraculous female ancestry will come through first, and the youth that passed prematurely in past generations will come through. And then you will also find with them, behind them, applauding that you finally figured out that patriarchy was a problem, the older men themselves. They'll say, I wish someone had told me this while I was alive. Please, why are you not heeding this woman and all of the many voices that have warned you that patriarchy causes exploitation, abuse, substance abuse, disease, and war? Do we need a world war to wipe us out because we're this stupid that we can't figure it out? Because I think we're moving in that direction right now. Wake up, everybody, and cherish your children and cherish your nieces and your nephews. Cherish your great-grandchildren and your nieces and your nephews and great-grandnieces and nephews. Not just your own children, but those of your extended family and your community. They're all what you need to cooperate with you together in divine democracy to make your lives work and be fulfilled. Without that, you are a caricature of humanity, and you are nothing more than beasts pushing buttons. I love you. Why are you not coming to these broadcasts? Why am I getting no comments on them? I get views. I see I'm getting views, and I'm getting views from around the world. But my own family is too silent. I'm accusing you. I love you so much, I want you to co-hostess and co-host with me, and yet you are not to be found. Find yourself and come. Okay, and I'm asking everyone, I'm telling everyone, read the New Millennial Golden Rule at 5050now.wordpress.com. Read the 11 steps underneath it so you know how quick and easily you can save this planet. There's another section called the Solar Marshall Plan, and underneath the Kitties Kits are another version of the 11 steps spelled out a little bit more with more materials to make it easier to implement the 11 steps in a practical way. And read the names of all my family and your family represented in the section called the Congresses, Grassroots Congresses, Courts and Assemblies, and look at the consciousness currencies that include the pictures of my family and must include the pictures of yours. Make them, print them out, distribute them to everyone you know. Use them as exchange for conventional money. Every time you use a conventional money, do what I show on the website, how to transform that conventional money into new millennial golden rule money that passes consciousness instead of patriarchy and planeticide around, that passes parity and paradise as the mechanism of exchange, the genuine progress indicators, not the very gross domestic product that leads us to death. Okay, so now look at 5050now.wordpress.com. We're going to put the screen share up, and we hope you have a marvelous moment of staring up the stars, knowing that they are suns just as our sun is during the day, that there are planets there, that you can find them, that they have your relations wanting to be risen via the Akashic record. Again, God wants to reincarnate your ancestry so that you might know them. The ones that you loved and lost, God wants to reincarnate them in a loving way. Why are you pushing in this manner of imbalance so that all that is coming is lower and lower forms of living and life, even on this planet? Do not turn yourself into frogs, snakes, and worms. Be risen human beings. Follow the New Millennial Golden Rule. Talk about it with everyone. Don't go through a day without mentioning to everyone you've spoken to that day the difference between parity and patriarchy. I want you to face it and focus on it with all of your might, because you've been ignoring it and you've been induced to ignore it for 25 years. You need to make up for this time. Focus on parity versus patriarchy with everyone you know, and you will come out of this nightmare. So we're going to put the screen share on, go to 5050now.wordpress.com, and we'll be back for more broadcasts tomorrow. And let me say, there isn't just one leap year day. Every day can be a quantum leap day if you wake up, and when you wake up to the New Millennial Golden Rule. If not, your days are numbered and they're horrific in potential disaster. So I love you. I want you to take the right path. Take the path of our new delivered law, the New Millennial Golden Rule, our new delivered law of this planet and all planets. Every blessing. Namaste. And all the languages of all of their heritages. B'hava l'chaim shalom, tubes et glerik, merci, mitakuya oyasin, kong somparks, komparks. All of the languages. Sayonara, chus, shlanzavad, g'day, das vidanya, buenos dias. Every moment of every day. 5050now.wordpress.com. It's too late. They're in a la-la land. God's got to not help them. They're being seduced into continual delay that ends up being death before the achievement of parity. And all of their families, our family and community, so precious, is throwing away the greatest gifts. Do not let it happen. Goddess God, help me. Help these people. Help them. Help me, help me, help me, and help me help all my children of your planet Earth. Help me rise and help become risen all your children, my and your children, Mother, Father, Goddess, God of the planet Earth, and all our planets of the universe. Let us become co-secretary generals, co-saviorahs, equinoxes, true cues now. We need to take the quantum leap forward instead of backward. Every blessing.